All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today for our live webinar series, A Guide Through the Matching Process. My name is Tanya Torres. I am here with Beth Galata, and we're so happy that you are joining us today. Let's go ahead and start our slides. Before we get started, we do encourage you to submit any questions throughout the presentation in our Q&A box. You'll find the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. You have the option to submit your question anonymously should you wish. There's going to be a checkbox to mark in order to do that. And we will answer questions at the end of the presentation, and we hope to be able to get to all of them. Okay. So what we'll be discussing today, I'm going to provide everyone with a brief overview and introduction about Donor Egg Bank USA. We'll be welcoming Beth Galata, who is our clinic liaison specialist here at Donor Egg Bank USA. And then at the end, I'll be providing an overview of our financial options, including our live birth guarantee plan. And we'll end with the live Q&A, answer your questions, and provide you with ways to contact us should you think of any other questions after this is over today. Okay, so who are we? Donor Egg Bank USA is the number one egg bank in the US, and we've been around since 2012. I personally have been here since 2017 and have enjoyed being a part of this group that's performed over 13,000 egg warmings, and we've helped over 10,000 families. We have one of the largest catalogs in the industry. We have an amazing donor team who seeks out qualified donors. And these donors all have received extensive genetic, psychological, and infectious disease screening, providing us with the best options to choose from for donor eggs to provide you with the best opportunity of success. We offer a live birth guarantee plan, which is really special and close to heart for, I would say, both Beth and myself, but really all of our team. We love the peace of mind that it offers our clients, the opportunity to have multiple tries, and the protection that you're in this plan where you are able to continue moving forward with our support and pursue that live birth and have the protection of having the opportunity of a refund, whether that's a full refund or a 50% refund. And we'll dive into that a little bit later on in our presentation, but just something we hold very close to our hearts. And last but not least, we have a wonderful team of family building consultants who are available by phone, by chat, by email, and are ready to answer questions that you might have once you begin your search, your journey, partnership with us. Okay, so we're going to quickly go over to Beth. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I'm thrilled to be here, and hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. A little bit about myself. I'm extremely passionate about sharing information about the use of frozen donor eggs and the different programs and guarantees that we offer here at Donor Egg Bank. I have had the pleasure of working at Donor Egg Bank for over 5 years. I started off as a family building consultant, working directly underneath Tanya at the time. I've also worked on the financial team here at Donor Egg Bank, and I now have the pleasure of working directly with our clinical partners and the clinics that you all are all seeking treatment at, and just ensuring that they have the information needed and feel supported on their end, and that I can assist in any information sharing that may need to take place to better support your treatment journey. I also came from a clinic myself, was there for many years. So all of that is very near and dear to me. Thank you all for being here today. So the first thing that's probably on everyone's mind is, how do I get started with the site? How do I get myself logged in. How do I get an account? So the first step to this process is registering for your account. We know that it has been a tough journey for many. We want to get you set up with as much information as possible from the very beginning of this process. We do have some great family building consultants that are going to help you with that as well. And they're going to help also ensure that this goes smoothly for you. And that's going to all start with that small button next to the search donor, which is the register button. After registration, so part of registration is just collecting some great demographic information. How can we connect with you? What clinic are you seeking treatment at? If you know that information, it's really great for us to collect that from the very beginning. And after you provide us with a few pieces of demographic information and possibly what financial plan you may be interested in, it really helps us to have deeper communication with you about your plan and the programs that we have to offer to you. Once you provide us the information, we're going to send along the welcome email to you. When we ask that you just confirm your email for us, that way we will be able to open up the site for you for full selection capabilities for donor profiles. So getting started, lots of information is going to be shared within the donors' profiles. Each donor initially, to the left, you'll see the browse capabilities. You can search by, obviously here you can search by many characteristics of the donor. The photos will be available. Physical characteristics of the donor will be available within those profiles. Education, skills, and ability. Their personal health, as well as their family's medical history information, medical history of the donors as well. Genetic screening results will also be available within their profiles. And lastly, what motivated that donor to start this journey of wanting to become a donor? All of this information will also be available to you, sent to you in a packet upon selecting, so you will have this information moving forward in the future. A few tips about selecting a donor. This site is constantly updated, so we do have donors that are becoming available Monday through Friday and being added to the site. At this time, the site also hosts over 375 donors, so it's a very robust site as well. Many offerings are within the site and the capabilities. You are able to review the donor's genetic screening information, which can be a little overwhelming, but we also have great supports in place to help with that as well. For most importantly, because it is a live site though, if you do identify a donor that you would like to move forward with, we highly encourage you to go ahead and make that donor selection, lock that selection into place, so that you can take some time to review that option, that selection that you've made, but also because it is a live site, you definitely want to ensure that if that's the donor you want to move forward with, you remove that donor from the site by making a donor selection. Genetics is a huge piece of the donor process. It's definitely not our goal, nor is it feasible to remove all or eliminate all diagnoses that exist for the donor or their family medical history. It is very important, though, that the information that is provided is something that you can share with your clinical team. We will share it with your clinical team so that they have an opportunity to do any genetic side-by-side comparisons or consultations that may be needed. It is a great tool for the decision-making process to ensure that for genetic screening specifically, the donor and the sperm source are not positive for the same items, but that, of course, will be reviewed further upon making a donor selection. General questions about the screening and the process for screening can be asked through a genetic counselor. And of course, everything related to the family medical history as well, which will be shared directly with your clinical team to review. So when it comes time to connect with a family building consultant, they are a phenomenal resource. They really are dedicated to ensuring that you have a full understanding of the process, what the next steps are for the process, which one of our wonderful financial plans fits your treatment needs. They definitely want to ensure that that part of your journey is you have the education you need in order to move forward. They're going to review the plan options and the guarantees for each of those financial plans that exist. We also have really great resources that they want to send out to you, like the financial guides. And then any questions you have about the process or timelines for shipping, all of that, the family building consultants really are here to assist with those questions as they arise. Selecting your donor. So now it comes time to, we've made a decision. We'd like to move forward with ensuring that we can remove this donor from the site. And by doing so, you're going to provide us a little bit of information in order to kind of fully submit that reservation. So you want to make sure that the information is matching the donor that you're selecting, that the information for the clinic that you're working with is provided to us as well, because our next step, of course, is going to be to inform your clinic of the donor selection that you've made. And they will be receiving that genetic information as part of the profile so that they can help to assist you in the next steps when it comes to any consultation that may be needed pertaining to the genetic screening. Once you submit the donor selection through the site, you're going to receive a confirmation, very, very similar to what you're seeing here on the screen. It does kind of walk you through the next steps of us communicating with the clinic and what those timelines will look like, but I think we have a few more slides to review that as well. So you make your donor selection. We send the confirmation email to you of your donor selection as well as the profile. We also send you the agreements through DocuSign. There's an intended parent agreement, and then there is an agreement for the financial plan option that you've opted into moving forward with. That timeline for completing those agreements is going to be a 5 business day window. We will provide you with the due date for those agreements after sending them over to you via DocuSign. And of course, our team is going to follow up with you after you receive those to see if you have any questions about the information on the agreements or the invoice that you've received. So next steps right before shipping, just really ensuring that we get the financial agreement and intended parent agreement back, as well as the completion of the payment. That's going to move us into the shipping phase of the selection. We do have the coordinators communicate directly with your clinic, as well as the freeze partner that's going to be shipping those eggs to your clinic to ensure that there is a safe delivery of the egg lot to your practice. The typical time frame for the shipping is a 2-week shipping window that allows for great communication between those who are going to be shipping a lot of eggs, your clinic who's going to be receiving them, and then of course they will be overnighted. But that 2-week window really allows for us to ensure that all of those things can take place for you and ensure a successful delivery to your practice. Once they arrive at your practice, we will also be notifying you with an email to let you know that your shipment has arrived safely and that your team is working to coordinate and communicate that to you. So next steps for you, what do I do once the lot arrives? Typically at that time, your clinic is ready to connect and communicate, or you're ready to connect and communicate with your clinic to discuss your treatment cycle and when to get that treatment cycle scheduled with them. So most clinics will wait for that lot to arrive before they discuss that treatment timing and when to schedule that. For you. And if anything, of course, arises, our team is also here to help you. So please keep that in mind as you're scheduling everything and waiting for the lot to arrive as well. I'm going to pass it back over to Tanya to review what those plan options are for you on the financial side.
Thank you, Beth. Okay, So we mentioned our refund plan at the beginning, and we start off with this as it is our most popular plan. I would say most of our most of our callers are asking for what this plan offers, right? You're calling in because you're looking for a guarantee, and this guarantee goes beyond a blastocyst transfer, where it is the pursuit of a live birth. And so with our refund plans, you're protected by them, where you get the opportunity to transfer multiple times. You have the opportunity to, at any point in the plans, withdraw yourself if you decide that it isn't what you want to continue to do. But also within that 3-year term of this plan, you also have the protection of receiving a 100% refund should you not be successful in achieving that goal of a live birth. It is a highly successful plan, however, which is why it continues to be a popular plan, and a plan that many people ask us about. I will mention that you have to undergo what we call a medical review. I want to say that that sounds a little bit probably more daunting than it really is. Um, Essentially, in a quick summary, we want to review some of your previous records, to just ensure that we're going to be able to help you participate in our plan. And so when you're interested in applying, when you have questions about whether or not you qualify, we still encourage you to apply. We have very basic criteria. We're looking at lining, we're looking at the uterus, and again, this is a high exception rate in our refund plans. Beth, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're somewhere in like the 94% range for acceptance into this plan. So most clients might even be referred to us by your physician, who will tell you themselves that they believe that you're a good candidate to participate in this live birth guarantee plan. So it provides you with multiple treatment cycles. Our assured refund plan provides you with up to 6 treatment cycles, which I like to equivalent that to egg lots. When we talk about cycles in IVF, we're talking about transfers a lot of times, but the nice thing is that in these plans, we're talking about egg lots. So it does give you the potential for multiple transfers, which is excellent. It gives you the opportunity for possible remaining embryos for future use, which is lovely. Um, and our assured refund plan will provide unlimited frozen embryo transfers. The prices do vary from clinic to clinic, so if you have questions about whether it is offered and what that cost might be, connect with us so that we can share a financial guide and walk you through what that looks like for you. The multi-egg lot refund plan is just as lovely. This plan. What the nice thing is that if you have insurance coverage for your transfers or those procedures at your clinic, you're not excluded from using that. You can apply your insurance coverage with your clinic with the multi-egg lot refund plan. In this offering, you receive up to 4 egg lots, and that's one at a time, just like in our assured refund plan, and with the same goal of pursuing that live birth within that timeline, the 3-year term of our agreement, with the same opportunity of 100% refund if you're not successful within that time frame, as well as a option for 50% refund should you desire to leave the plan. I will say most people are not intending to leave the plan, and the majority of our clients are finding success. Again, that's somewhere in the 90% range of clients are going to have success in achieving their live birth. Okay. We also have 3 additional plans to talk about. We have our single cycle plan, and the lovely thing with our single cycle is it's similar in that procedures are included at your clinic. So this is at select practices, but we do encourage you to call us to find out and to verify if it's an option. I will say usually you'll know your clinic may inform you of these types of bundled opportunities. And so the single cycle is, I've always felt just what it sounds like. It's an egg lot with procedures for one cycle. You have our Blastocyst guarantee for all three of these plans. And so you have a quality blastocyst to transfer, freeze, or biopsy. And lovely again, if you have any remaining embryos, those are yours to keep and to utilize as needed. Then we have our single egg lot and our double egg lot plans. Both of these plans are just eggs. So if you're looking for either one try at your, if you're in your IVF journey, you want to give this one more try, single egg lot plan might be a good option. Additionally, if you are working with progeny, I don't know if you're aware, but we do accept progeny. It's actually the only, I would say, medical insurance benefit that we accept and we work with. And so should you have that coverage, we encourage you to talk to them, but we have so many progeny clients, and I think it's one of the most excellent options that I've seen and opportunities that people have to be able to move forward with their frozen donor egg journey. So single egg lot plan is just eggs being sent to your clinic. You would work out the cost of procedures with your clinic. But again, if you have that progeny insurance, it's an excellent benefit to consider using it for. And then our double egg lot plan guarantees two blastocysts. This plan is at a slightly discounted cost than if you had purchased two single egg lots. And it comes with guarantee of two blastocysts regardless of where they come from, but two at the end of the day. The good news again is we see success. We see people with more than one blastocyst per egg lot. Of course, outcomes vary, but I think that a lot of our clients do see wonderful success, and we have people who have live births from all of these plans, right? Our single egg lot, our single cycle. So we're happy to share our wonderful donors, our wonderful plans with you, and hope that we can hear from you with any questions you have surrounding what might be the best option for you to move forward with. Okay. Um, these are some of our partners, and I already mentioned Progeny, which is an excellent benefit to find out if it's best applied with your donor egg treatment. We also accept Carrot. We do receive referrals from Carrot. So should you be working with someone on the Carrot team, let them know that you are in contact with Donor Egg Bank USA, and make sure that they send a referral over to us so that we can mark that in our system and make sure that we get you the appropriate benefits. And Stork Club as well. So if you are a member and part of Stork Club, be sure that you are getting referred to us from your team. All right. And then financing. Financing is a super important part of this journey. Important for me, I would say CapEx and Future Family here in the US are the options for financing. You would need to contact these teams directly, but we work very close in hand. Once you have approval, we'll help you get that process moving forward. Medicard by iFinance is an option in Canada. Should you be a patient in Canada, for financing, this would be the acceptable form of payment for to us. Last but not least, in the US, ARC Fertility as well, one of our financing partners. So we ask you to just let us know who you're working with, how we can help you, or if you have questions about who you should get in touch with, we'll be able to get you connected. And we are available for questions. I think we've mentioned that a lot, but everyone's journey is different. Everyone has a different background, and you might have slightly different goals, or your journey's slightly different from your neighbors. But we are here to assist you. We've helped and assisted many, many clients, and I can say that our family building consultants care very much about your journey and helping you. And we all celebrate all of our clients and all of their wins, and just are here for that. We want everyone to be successful and hope that we can help you reach that success as soon as possible. So register on our website, chat us on our website. If you're shy, if you're not shy, if it's just easier for you to write to us, you can also email. We're available by phone Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're all looking forward to hearing from you. We're gonna move over to our Q&A and get some of these questions answered for you. All right. Someone asked if there's gonna be access to the recording. Yes, we will. This has been recorded and will be made available, I want to say, typically within 48 hours, but we can absolutely share that with you via email once it's ready. Okay. I see someone else asked if, says, why do some donors say they have a supplemental fee, and what does that mean? So there are a handful of donors. I want to say that the majority of our database does not list supplemental fees, but there are a handful of donors that simply where they cycled is like there's an additional, I can't think of the word right now. Um, there's an additional fee with some of the clinics that we work with. And it's separate from what our regular fee entails. And so it would be an additional cost that has to be paid at the time of signing and completing your agreements. We do try to minimize this as much as possible. But part of it is to expand our reach and have the most varied catalog. And so sometimes that takes more from the clinic. It's just a bigger job to seek out a more varied database. And so that cost, like I said, would be something that would be in addition to the cost of the payment of the plan. But we do try to keep those fees as minimal as possible, and we try to not have them at all if possible as well.
I see a question here. Do donors come back available if someone's selected but does not move forward? Yes, that is a possibility if the initial individual to select chooses not to move forward with the donor. We do have the ability then, of course, to put the donor back on the website. It's a really good option to always favorite donors that you like. That's by using the heart at the left-hand side of a donor's profile with a plus. If you favorite that donor, you can view your favorited list. You'll be able to see them should they pop back up because the previous individual decided not to move forward.
I would encourage favorite them, absolutely. But once you've favorited them, you're going to notice that it's likely that their profile will no longer come up in your search. And when you favorite a donor, that is an excellent way of capturing a donor you were interested in, even when they are no longer available because someone else selected them. Let us know if you missed out on a donor so that should that donor come back available to the database, we'll proactively let you know. A little bit of an inside hack. Let us know. We wanna help you match with your donor of choice. So if that happens to you, just let us know. And we will, if it's in the stars and it happens, excellent. We are happy for you. How long do we have to confirm the donor once selected? So that's a great question. Once you've selected the donor, that starts the process of agreements and payment. If the donor is not suitable genetically, you can always you can always swap out the donor. If you have a more specific question about confirming the donor, like if there's a specific situation, I would encourage you to give us a call so that we can help you with making sure you're able to match with the appropriate donor, so that you have enough time to review them. But a lovely thing about the database is that, again, our donors have been screened. These are the 1 to 3% of donors who qualified through the screenings, through all of the requirements that we have set in place. And they all are acceptable for selection. The one piece that might keep them from being the right choice for you might be genetics. And so if that is the case, then we understand that that's beyond your control, and we're going to help you be able to cancel that donor selection and make a new selection so that you can move forward.
I also see a question here about the disclosure levels of donors. So there's non-disclosed, disclosed, and disclosed. So a donor who is open to future contact would mean that at the time of offspring being 18, the offspring would be able to reach out to us directly and receive the donor's demographic information and choose how to use that moving forward. It means that the donor is open to that future contact, and that will be listed in the donor's profile as to whether or not they are a non-disclosed or a open to disclosure donor.
I have a great question about a requirement for lining. And I just want to highlight, we do have a lining requirement for our refund plans, and that is 8 millimeters. Ultimately, if you are interested in the refund plan, I would love for you to apply, because we're looking at you as a whole. We're not just looking at bits and pieces. And so again, that's why also, the majority of people who apply, the 97% of people who apply are going to be accepted into this plan, because we're looking at everything. And lining, there's a lot of different types of ways to test for lining. So I would encourage applying so that you can find out if you are a good candidate. Okay.
Great question about the genetic piece, which does come up quite a bit. If you select a donor and your clinic advises that it's not a good genetic match, are you still charged? So when making a donor selection and receiving the agreements and the payment, the invoice, that's specific to the financial plan that you're opting into, not necessarily the donor that you have selected. So we do still encourage you to complete those in the timely manner in those 5 business days provided. If the donor's genetics turns out not to be a suitable match for you, of course, we would love to assist you in finding a new suitable donor match and just applying everything you've already completed, both payment and agreement wise, to your new donor selection.
It'll keep everything moving forward and allow us to move into shipment, which is probably one of the most exciting parts of the process. And the next question kind of follows in with that. Your payment is due within 5 business days of your donor selection. If you are prepping for your financials and you have questions about getting in touch with CapXMD, Future Family, ARC, if you give us a call, we can provide you with those points of contact, and share with you just a little bit about how that process goes. But those experts will be able to let you know what their approval process is, and then we can help you with processing your payment and getting things moving along. Yeah.
There's a great question here. If I want a sibling later, will the donor be available? It's a big question with lots of options, lots of answers, I guess is the best way to put it. There is a likelihood that you wouldn't need any additional lots because your lot created enough embryos for future use after your initial live birth. You do have an option, of course, if that is not the case, you can certainly contact a family building consultant. We can take a look at the availability for a donor. The double egg lot plan is a really great option to create additional embryos for future use. And you also have an opportunity upon getting that positive outcome to connect with us to potentially do a short-term hold of the lot just to ensure that if needed in the future, if you have that success with that lot, if needed in the future, you still have the purchasing capability. So lots of options, but many things can happen in a treatment journey. Lots of options to consider and avenues that may transpire as you work through your treatment journey.
I see, it looks like we might have some, if you are a donor who's chatted in, we do have a separate team who can assist you with next steps. So I'll be sure to write down your name and get you over to those folks. So someone asked about how many lots can a donor give, or so donors are capped at, for our program, up to 6 donations. Not everybody's going to make 6 donations, which is the reality of it. Many of us on this webinar may have gone through an egg retrieval of our own and know that it isn't a walk through the park. It is intense and isn't as simple as, any other procedure. So it's a very big decision. Donors are able to donate up to 6 times. I can't say that they all will. And then the number of lots varies. I feel like we're probably 2 to 3 on average in a donation. But all of that, we're all individuals, right? We're all different. We all respond to medication differently. But we have a program that has been doing this and is very, I would say, conservative and careful. We're ultimately looking out for quality. And so, I think that's even seen through our partners, right? They trust us for that reason because we are careful and we care about quality, and so we have criteria in place for that. It's a good question, though.
There's a question about the matching process, whether it's on both sides of matching, if it's just the intended parent matching with the donor. So it is intended parent based matching with the donor. The disclosure of the donor is going to be known for future contact reasons by offspring, but when you're making your donor selection, it is based on what is important to you in your donor selection. And a lot of the great information can be obtained directly through that profile. I know for myself, the motivational page is probably one of my favorite because it really does give you great insight as to who this person is as an individual, and why they have made the decision to become a donor.
Someone asked a question about the donor, if the donor has to choose you in return. And that is not the case. All of our donors have retrieved eggs, relinquished their rights, and the eggs are ready to select on the database. Let's see. If you are choosing, I think it looks like you're asking, if you're choosing for the single egg lot plan, can you still apply for a refund? So the only plan that offers any opportunity for any type of a refund is going to be the refund plans, the assured refund plan or the multi-egg lot refund plan. The other plans offer a blastocyst guarantee as long as the sperm meets our minimum criteria. and are not eligible for a refund should they not result in a live birth. Some of those will result in a live birth, some might not. But that's also why we highly encourage considering our live birth guarantee plan to, plan out the what ifs. We don't know what outcome to expect from any embryo transfer.
I just saw a couple of questions, I think, that to also round back about, how do you know if a donor has more than one lot available for maybe the double egg lot selection or for future use? The family building consultants are a really great resource. So they can definitely look into any inquiry further and see what that availability may look like for the selection of the donor that you're interested in moving forward with. Please use them as a resource. They're phenomenal individuals and they really want to help to answer those questions so that you have the most education up front about which direction you're going to go with your financial plan.
I see somebody asked about financing outside of the US. I did mention Medicard I finance, and they are in Canada. If you're outside of Canada or the US, I wouldn't have any specific recommendation. However, I might encourage you to consult with your clinic. Perhaps they might have an additional resource that might be a good option for you to consider.
Uh,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Tanya.
Nope, go for it.
Okay, there's a question about the genetic consults. So, we do have a team that can tell you if your sperm source has been screened for the same thing as the donor. I do highly encourage you to also lean on your clinic to provide those resources and referrals for the genetic counselors. Genetic counselors, through those referrals, can do a side-by-side comparison and analysis and give you a little bit more information on statistics related to those carrier items. So definitely lean in a little bit more to the clinic. They have those referral lists to provide to you.
Someone asked about donors' family history, and deciding on a donor when you're looking at this information. Now, ultimately, you wanna, if you have concerns over a donor's profile and their reported family history, I would say first talk to your doctor. Um, and then secondly, I would say, again, our program, it's very conservative. Our team has taken extra steps to screen and vet donors, and we're accepting donors that we believe are going to give you all the best opportunity of success. No, I would say nobody's family history is probably perfect. But if there's something that's concerning to you, and you have to consider if you're using donor egg and you're using a partner sperm, for example, that's where you want to have a conversation with your doctor and say, are there certain family history reports that I should maybe avoid if my husband's family history has X included in it? Like, is that something? My best answer to this is speak with your doctor, but feel encouraged that we're doing everything we can to have the healthiest donors who are going to give you all the best chance at success. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, things are moving for me. Um, Somebody asked about age, and I'm not sure exactly. I'm not clear on what you're asking, but I'm going to answer how I think possibly you might be asking, which might be, what is the age limit for choosing donor eggs for your treatment, right? Donor Egg Bank USA does not have, we don't have an age limit as to when you can when you're not allowed to move forward with donor egg. However, your clinic might, or likely does. So I would encourage you to speak to your clinic to find out if there's any age restrictions on up to when they would treat you with frozen donor eggs.
There is, for vaccines, that is not part of the donor's profile. Anything related to donor's vaccination records will not be part of a donor's profile.
We follow FDA requirements and the ACOG regulations, I want to say. So we're following the standards of screening. And then our teams, again, are vetting and adding some extra criteria to make sure we have the best from the best to choose from. And just to confirm, so after you've made a donor selection, your agreements and payment are due within those 5 business days.
I see a great question about genetic screening for the sperm source. When should that take place? Every clinic is a little different. Some clinics have you do that as part of pre-screening prior to moving forward with your donor selection. Some clinics do want you to wait to make your donor selection to know what company or panel to screen the sperm source for. There is no right answer here. On just personally, it's nice to have that information prior to making selection, but I would go at the advice of your clinic and kind of let them tell you what makes the most sense for when that comes into your journey.
Somebody asked about the double egg lot. We do, for the double egg lot plan, you would choose both egg lots at once. They don't need to be the same donor, but they do need to be selected within the same kind of time frame. It may not have to be in the same day exactly, but probably within the same week or so is when we're looking for you to complete that 2 egg lot selection. Someone asked about the lining requirement and having that information prior to completing their agreement with us. So I did briefly mention there's a medical review that takes place, and so we would be asking this information before you would receive agreements. Now, if you this is one we might want to take as a phone call, but I will just very surface level share that we would encourage a mock cycle, or if you've had a frozen embryo transfer in the past year, that could give us the information we need in order to review and approve you for participation, because the lining measurement should be included in this information. But it might also be possible that you'll need to complete a mock cycle, like an estrogen mock cycle. Ultimately, I still encourage apply. Let us look at the information and then find out, maybe you have everything that you need in order for us to approve you. Or if we don't have everything we need, then we can let you know what we would need and help you navigate that way.
And I think we're kind of I think there's one other question on here that we may not have touched on, and that would be the double egg lot plan. Does it require you to make both selections at once? That plan would require you to make both selections at once. We do have We do have intended parents who select 2 lots of the same donor. Again, your FBC, the family building consultant, will be able to assist you with the information on whether or not there's more than 1 lot available before you make that choice. And we do have intended parents who choose 2 separate donors for their double egg lot. It is completely up to you, but both would have to be selected in order to finalize that financial plan.
Okay. I think that wraps us for today. I thank you all so much. Those were really excellent questions, and I'm so happy that you all participated and share your thoughts, shared your questions so that we can share with the group. Again, our live webinar series for today is recorded, and should you wish to receive the link for that, we encourage you to let us know. And yeah, thank you so much for today. I think that was really excellent, and I appreciate your time. Appreciate your time, Beth. Lovely to be here with you today, and
Absolutely, yes.
looking forward for our future conversations and working with you all very soon.
Yes, thank you all for joining us.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Take care.